Ciao Flava. Hope everybody is well on this bright morning. Could be Monday, could be Tuesday. Could be anywhere, everywhere, and nowhere. I want to talk about healthcare. 684. 684 is the area code for American Samoa. All you are listening and watching from all over the world, and here in Tutuila and Manua, which is the 684. Oh, and Onu, don't forget Onu. Healthcare, we've always had a problem with our healthcare. Falemai, Faleoki, whatever words that people use to describe it. When we moved down here, I have a heart condition. I'm also newly on dialysis from the States. I felt that to live the rest of my life out here with my family. So I know the risks. I've already considered and thought about the risk of moving back home to American Samoa. The hospital is not up on par. The whole healthcare is not on par to what I've been used to. But, we make do with what we have here. So, the last 2.5 years we've been here, We've been here for 2.5 years. Me and my wife and our child, 11 years old now. Our child took to it like fish in water. Fia Samoa. It's her first time in Samoa, and she just loves it. She, that was the deciding factor to me that weighed a lot on. It was her happiness, which we prayed and hoped for a long time, and God blessed us at the right time. So, I had a massive heart attack in 2021, heart failure. And then on that same hospital stay, they put me on dialysis because they said my kidneys were failing. And most of these decisions, my wife did the best. She is the best. And when I came to discussing with her, I was in the hospital for 5 weeks, and then in rehab for another 5 weeks. But during the 5 weeks at the hospital, we discussed about coming back to Samoa. And she was ready for retirement, tired of the whole COVID thing, And at that time, I think the restrictions just got loosened up that there are people able to travel back. So we came in 2022. But from 2021 to 2022, I researched and I reached out to the doctors that I had in California that I'm about to make this move. Oh man. They were like, don't go, you're going to die. That was a reality check. But I felt like it was time to move on with life. My wife retired because I got sick, and plus at that point she had spent 20 plus, almost 30 years with county. She is eligible for retirement, but she decided to. So ako, my lola, yeah, well, yeah, and the research and dialysis, what am I going to do? My heart was like all set, both in my and wife. So we looked further into it. It took a whole year. I was working on losing weight. The target was 100 pounds. That's another story, which I hit. And so was getting used to dialysis, getting used to all the things that I was at that time. The medication, so much medication. And I said, dear God, there's got to be an answer to this. I kept praying on that. So we made finally, when we pulled the trigger, before it was a talk and conference about moving to Samoa. Then we pulled the trigger and sold the house, sold everything, or most of it, kept our trucks, and we were not going to buy a new truck here. They're too expensive. And we knew what we were walking into. That's the thing. If you are living in the United States and you have medical conditions, or you don't have medical conditions, it's always best to research forward. Say, okay. So we came in with eyes open, knowing the factors that are against us in the healthcare. So, Fasolo Mayala Ia, the first month, man, since we've been here, I have a defibrillator installed. I got heart failure, so they just installed a defibrillator, like a pacemaker, but this one shocks you. And all the stuff that came with it. And then I got to do dialysis. So I was just getting used to dialysis and trying to get used to this defibrillator, and this new life I'm entering as a very sick person. So, okay. By the way, shout out to LBJ Dialysis. You're on point. I mean, I'm talking about dialysis. Dialysis in the States, very depressing, because everybody's going there and they're, I gotta sleep for so many hours and gotta get this blood filtered and whatnot, clean my blood. Well, dialysis here, woo, man. I'm not condoning dialysis, but if you're in the States, you want to come to visit, go out. They have a Hope Dialysis also. That's a private company. But Hope LBJ Dialysis, it belongs to the hospital. And we're talking about LBJ Hospital. This is one of the very few units that I could say that's close to 100% performance. They are the best. Blood work done on site, doesn't have to be shipped out to another country. I mean, another country besides America. So everything in-house, except for just a few things like surgery, but it's all good. Thumbs up. Shaka LBJ Dialysis. They have an east and west section. I mean, the west wing, these guys do a bang-up job. All of them. Yeah. Dance around, bump that music. It takes the blues away. That's what people understand. They understand that. Whether they are conscious of it, it takes the blues away. So, that was story of Fasolo Mairole in Samoa. The hospital, if you've been here since 1970, if you left here before 1975, and you come back, it is the same looking hospital. Maybe about 20% improvement as far as building goes and services and that. That's my estimation. You don't hold me to it. But that's LBJ. Then you have the ER. Well, let me tell you. A lot of you know koke malamalama, ko kere ko malamalama. O le kupe e whaakupe a ele LBJ. LBJ is under socialized medicine. Okay? I hear a lot of people, oi, peanga pea le LBJ for the mai fafo e kasi le umianga for. That's true. But you know why it's true? Because those hospitals in the U.S. are private hospitals and the clinics are private clinics. So that's why they have an insurance scheme. The insurance is to make, it's a part of a whole system, which is health management. HMO, PPO, and all those different plans. None of that, well, that exists here in American Samoa when people go out and then they use their insurance card or Medicare, but they have Medicaid here that pays for people that can't pay, that are on, medical. And so the whole healthcare system, it needs they be reevaluated a lot, and they've gotten CEOs in there that, somehow the money is spent and you don't really get it. That's the people's money. You don't really get a transparent account of it. When I mean transparent, all these, my understanding of a government entity, kemi imaio official malo, kakaunga, I think it is one of the things in the rules is you have to have spending summary and also make it public information. How else is the people going to know and feel comfortable sitting there on wooden benches that probably haven't been wiped for years with any disinfectant? Anyway, let me stay on point. They need a lot of things. The first thing they need is to get on it. Get on it and get with it. They recently hired a new CEO that is an epidemiologist. He's a doctor. Good luck to him in trying to make things better. But we had several CEOs in the past. The last CEO was a doctor also. And I'm not sure he's a medical doctor. I'm sure he is. Dr. Leduo. He did what I feel is an okay job. By standards, that's pretty good. And he was working on something in regards to dialysis. Expanding the unit or expanding services. And all this thing went down and it got shut down by the board because of decision that they thought it was not supposed to be done. Maybe he got ahead of himself. So, and when those people make these decisions, it's very hard for them to fathom their mission. Improve healthcare. Improve healthcare means supporting the person that's on point with where healthcare is going. It's doing something. And how could you keep on putting the brakes to that because of procedural, I'm sure you can find a commonality in working from there and going forward. I'm sure you can. The only things that I feel that would block that from getting to that point of commonality where you can work together is your ego. Ego is a very dirty word. It's not a 4-letter word. It's a 3-letter word. Well, the word is egotistical, but the base of the word is ego. 3-letter word. It is worse than a 4-letter word. With ego, people tend to make a lot of mistakes. I, Sau'Ai, am also guilty of that a lot of times. I don't lie to you. But when you have people making decisions of the millions of dollars in healthcare, about the healthcare of this nation, we're only 44,000 deep plus. Those are the stats. And we have a budget for the hospital alone, multi-million, 100-something million this year, or I might be off tens of thousands here and there, but I believe it's at 1.87 billion, or no, I think it's more than that. I think it's 187 million. I might be wrong, but fill in the blanks. So you have a multi-$100 budget. There are no U.S. certified doctors here. At least one that's running ER. There is no. You got doctors from Fiji who are supposed to be doctors, but they're not. They are MOs. An MO is a medical officer. Yes, they have the knowledge of the doctors, but when you're talking about a quality doctor that can revamp this system and get it to where it start going, is you got to start hiring Palangis, Japanese, Chinese, that are U.S. certified. Yes, they ask for at least $250,000. Yeah. For my didaingan ni may fafo. Even our own Samoan, ko kile ka ko kang Amerika Samoa, who are certified doctors. I talk to them sometimes, a couple on a flight to American Samoa and to Honolulu, Ikalawai. I've spoken to them. Why? Because they deemed that not qualified. So that was a year ago. To this time, my personal opinion is, from what that was told to me and what I've observed on the mentality of management at the hospital, you've got too many doctors managing the healthcare. Doctors are important. Current doctors, don't get me wrong, they're doing a great job as doctors. But if we keep shooting for the same goal, with the last, couple administrations or before that, each administration is different. But now they understand that the board is, LBJ is autonomous. They are within the government, but they do their own books, managing, and all that stuff. I think that's the word, autonomous. A lot of agencies are autonomous. But that one in particular, So then you have healthcare. Let me start with the ER, because that's the hottest one. If you go on the ER on the weekend, let's say a 3-day weekend, and it's a lot of rain, and a lot of rain that in this season, for some reason, it follows along a seasonal schedule of things in the States. Get you guys figuring who is up to this stuff. Anyway, you got the coughing, the flu, the cold, that you can hear. I'm just recovering from it. My whole family passing it back and forth, except for the dog. But you've got these sicknesses. So it's so bad for some people, they have to go to the emergency room. It's so bad for some people that multiple people in families, the father, the mother, the sister, the child. So in a family of 5, 4 people are sick. So now all 5 has to go to the hospital because the 5th person is a minor. Can't leave him at home. After all, they spend. Aku packed the ER. Packed. Packed the ER. The nurses or orderlies or people working in the triage area, back and forth. It's a very busy unit. The floors, the bathroom where you go and for the urine test, right next to the lab, inside the triage. Damn, man. Where's that $100-something million? Literally. Last time I was at LBJ, what is he for? You know, me and my nephew witnessing. We called for this guy. This guy comes around, and he walked into the room, and his hand is up his ass, scratching his ass, right? And then he's like Victor, yeah. And he reaches out to shake my hand with the hand he just scratched his ass with and scratches. Hey. I'm not going to say he's Samoan or Fijian, but I'm just going to say he's not Samoan. Okay? And that's that's not the first incident. There's a lot more incidences. You know, even when I was a patient, I was in the ward, right? I was admitted for 6 weeks because I had to get antibiotics injection every day. And I was doing dialysis. So they kept me in for 6 weeks to do the rounds of antibiotics and also be able to do dialysis on the different days. 6 weeks. And I've seen every doctor that came there in the mornings, during the weekdays when they do the rounds. Yeah, I spend at least half an hour in my room for solo facility. You know, I want to know this. And they get irritated. And I said, oh, I know you're irritated. And plus, you got to run for breakfast. But I'm a damn patient. Listen to what the fuck I have to say. Excuse my language. And with these people that they do the best that they can, they try to mimic. You know, I don't know, but just on a side note, I don't know why the hell did they bump down Dr. Salipanga. But that's your choice. Anyway, Dr. Salapanga's bomb. Still is, and he's got that Kenny Roger hair. Dr. Saleh Santa. So, getting a kupe, that's a lot of money. You know, we the people demand the services. Okay, just so you understand what socialized medicine is. Socialized medicine is when the government owns and runs the hospital, okay? And anything healthcare related to that hospital. Or any people that, like the board of health, it's all government. I mean, the health board, and supposed to be the cosmetology board, that has a, you know, it has to tie in with Department of Health. And you have the barbering board. You have all these boards that I've seen, but none of them exist. Like, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, all these side businesses with the hair and the barbers. These also things have to do with healthcare. That's how broken this healthcare system is. It's not just the hospital. It's not just the Department of Health in Tafuna or Leone or all the way in the other side of the east side of the island or even central. Because they have these clinics, but there's no qualified people to run these clinics. No qualified people who even have the mind to prescribe medication. Have you ever been prescribed medication by a head doctor and it has to do with a medical issue? Yeah. They're short of doctors here. There's not enough aggressiveness into recruiting the best doctors, recruiting Samoan doctors who have practiced all over the United States. Appeal to them. Your people are suffering. Appeal to them. Help your people. But we can't help our people if everybody's taking the money. You can't help our people when everybody's taking the money. And when I say everybody, that's the people that the money was intended for. The money, the agency, that the budget that they asked for. Why aren't they asking for more? Because they don't know how to justify it. I'm telling you how to justify it. I'm telling you right here in this program how to justify it. How you justify it, you look forward. You forecast what's about to come. You don't do it just for now or just for next year. That's what you budgeted for. Let's budget it for next year. 2025 already started, and the budget is being eaten up because it's the same managerial type. The money is managed the same way. The same way. So how do you intend for this to change? If you don't talk, speak up. You, the people, will always somehow, directly, indirectly, 99.98% of the time, is going to go to LBJ. And when you go to LBJ, then you will find out the hard way what I'm talking exactly about right now. You got to do it. Those people that are out in the States who have family here, because I know one day you'll be visiting. And if you bring your ass over here and you get sick, where are you going to go? LBJ. You see what I'm saying? It's not just affect us here in American Samoa. It affects you, the Samoan or the non-Samoan, who travel through these islands to get to Tonga, to Fiji, to Samoa, Western Abolu, or Manua. You have to go through this Pago Pago International Airport. But if you get sick here, oh God. Yeah. You know what I do when I get sick here? I do everything I can because I know what the symptoms are. I've been sick for a while. So in order to prevent these little sicknesses, I try to eat better. I try to do better, stretches. I know my fat ass can't walk a mile without falling apart, but I stretch. I am in the comfort of my home and I stretch my body and it moves around just in-house. Do the laundry, do the cooking. Last week, was a testament of that. My wife and daughter were sick and I had to handle here at home the cooking, the cleaning, the coaching, the taking care of these two sick people, making sure my daughter gets to and from school, making sure I get to dialysis to and from. And my nephew was my right-hand man. Shout out to AJ Swag G. You know what I'm saying? I have support. If you feel like you're alone, that you don't have support, there is support. Just look within your family. So back to healthcare. That's where it goes. Recently, even the Senate rejected paying pharmacists 100-something thousand a year. And we have 4 pharmacists. Let me tell you, if it wasn't for the pharmacist that caught the pill that ER subscribed me and then put it for the pharmacy to do a refill, the pharmacist caught it. You know why? Because that medicine ER was giving me would have killed me in 3 days. Imagine that. Yeah. It's time. Pula and Pulu, you are elected. You are the elected, or what they call Kovanga Malutena Kovanga Fa'orioli. Yes. And I know you are hitting the ground running right now. But if you haven't been told, I just might as well tell you again. You are walking to a shitstorm. You are walking to the most corruption that this generation has ever seen. I'm sure you've seen corruption in your generation, Mr. Pula and Mr. Pulu, Governor and Lieutenant Governor of American Samoa. But I actually feel like we have a chance to steer this boat around. We have a big chance to steer. Identify. We all know where the corruption is. Now, how are we going to do to get about that? How are we going to deal with that? Well, we deal with it one step at a time. But that's what I have to say about this healthcare in 684. That's a start. I'm still going to be bitching and moaning, complaining about it. This is not the fucking last. Excuse my language. So you people out there, make sure you talk. Talk it with your friends. Kalangoa, Alaska, every Samoan in Alaska, Seattle, the state of Washington, Colorado, Idaho, Montana, Texas, California, New Mexico, Utah, Nevada, Florida, Samoans everywhere in the United States and the world will one day, not at all at one time, please. We don't have the facilities for you. Even the tourists that jump from here to there, to Western Samoa, to Tonga, they have to go through this international hub. Even the guns and drugs that come through here. Yeah, oh, I'm sorry, that's another episode. But let's stick to healthcare. Okay? Talk it with your people. Mention it to other people. Even if you don't like that person, say, hey, do you hear about what's going on in the healthcare in the Pangapango? Ah, Okaya, yes. Olai Kaya. But now it's a time for everybody to do something. Get on that horse. Call your people. Let them know it's time to protest. We got to make some noise. It's time to hit the streets. Bring your sign. I don't care. I'm bringing a big old middle finger. Yeah. When was a big old donut? Big old finger. Donut. Because we're fucked. I'm sorry. But it's the way. It's just the way that things are going. And the current administration is not letting the transition process. So how are we going to transition into a new year with new hopes, new ideas, if we don't know what in the bejesus are we walking into? All right, and that's my time. It's Sau'Ai. And remember, be good to yourself. All right? Yasui Fua.